Purpose. No one can create your purpose for you. No one can tell you who to be. So in purpose, you have to create your own purpose. And in evolution, you have to evolve towards that purpose. It's easier to live when you have goals to meet. You understand?
Identify with what you love. And once you love it, hone in on that thing until you can master it to the point where people can identify that there's no questioning your love for it.
There's no replacement for persistence, as simplistic as that is. And if you want to master something, I think that's the thing most people don't do. They read a little bit, they listen a little bit, they dip in and out. They don't go day and night, night and day in total immersion in something that transforms them, and also something that makes them push through their fears. Because in the end, that's the only thing that stops me. Everybody's got a story. I didn't know this person. I don't have the resources. They have all the things they don't have. But if you're resourceful, you can get the money, you can get the time, you can get the energy, you can get anything you want.
Times that we should proceed with caution. But it's the difference between being stopped by fear. It's the difference between having a fear and the fear having you.
The biggest regret of the dying is never becoming your ideal self. I want to leave this earth becoming who I know deep within I am supposed to be.
Sometimes you got to stop focusing and thinking about what could have happened or what should have happened, and you got to live in what is happening and focus on surviving it, because the quicker you can survive it, the quicker you can use it, the quicker you can extract a lesson from it, the quicker you can glean perspective from it. And for all of us, we're going to encounter those defining moments in our lives, right, to where it's going to hurt.
All you have to do is decide not to quit. Because within of every one of us is the ability and the DNA to overcome and to win. And when we win, we never know when it's going to happen, but it comes. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be next week, but the day is coming. And it's not about every dog having this day. It's the fact that you don't allow the day to dog you. You get up and you go after it, you believe and you fight through it, and then no matter what it is that you're going through, the suffering will come to an end. And you will learn in the suffering that it created pressure, and when the pressure comes, it'll bust the pipe and the dams of life will come open, and that's why you end up in the flow of life that allows you to win. But you gotta believe that the suffering has a purpose. But so do you.
Your goals and dreams have to be bigger than your problems. If you're going through hell, keep going.
We all have two opposite versions of ourselves on the inside. We have the winner and the loser, the happy one and the depressed one. But which one surfaces more in your life? Which one rises to the top? The one that you feed more. Your words are the fuel to becoming the person that you will become and having the things that you will have.
When your time comes, and it will, you'll never be ready. But you're not supposed to be. Find the hope in the unexpected. Find the courage in the challenge. Find your vision on the solitary road. Don't get distracted. There are too many people who want credit without responsibility. Too many who show up for the ribbon cutting without building anything worth a damn. Be different. Leave something worthy. And always remember that you can't take it with you. You're going to have to pass it on.
If you want to be great, oh man, prepare to get up off that mat. You're going to get knocked down over and over and over. And even when you feel like, no, I can't be hit this hard. Or if you're down there thinking, there's no way I can get up from this. That's when you're just starting.
Don't give up on your dream. No one could have convinced me by holding on by continuing to push forward, by continuing to run toward my dream. And one day, it's a long shot, but I kept running toward my dream. Don't stop. Don't stop.
Until you make a decision that you no longer want to feel how you feel, or you no longer want to think the way that you think, or you no longer want to have the kind of results or no results that you have, until you make that decision that, you know what? I know I don't feel great. I know I doubt myself. I know I've had a lot of bad things happen. I know there's a lot that I regret, but damn it, with the time that I have left in my life, I really want to start to enjoy myself. I want to take better care of myself. I want to feel happy. You don't even have to believe you deserve it yet. You can just want it. You've got to start there. You've got to start with wanting something better for yourself. And then I personally think the most important thing is to start acting like the person who has the things that you want right now, even though you don't feel like it.
Life doesn't end when you realize you could have done better but didn't. You can make a better choice now. Healing doesn't happen overnight or follow a set schedule. The most important thing is that you hold on, keep going, even when you have nothing left to give. Trust that you're strong enough for this. Every experience is temporary. Life doesn't end unless you decide it doesn't.
Build momentum. Build confidence and momentum with each good decision that you make from here on out. You can do it. Anyone can do it. We live in unique times. We live in one of the rarest times in human history where you can choose almost all the input that comes your way. Whether it's the movies that you watch, the books you read, the podcasts you listen to, you can choose to be inspired. Do that.
We all pretty much know what action we should be taking, yet so few of us do. You already know who you want to be. So go be that person. Stop waiting for something to happen so that you finally start living your own life. Go make it happen yourself.
Don't forget, the passage of time stops for no one. So try your damnedest to capitalize on it when you know that you can. The last thing you want to do is fast forward 5 years, 10 years, however many years, and think to yourself, holy crap, I probably should have spent those years doing something a little bit different. You know, if you don't do anything, you just kind of stay comfortable. So you gotta be the guy who has to deal with the thoughts on the regular of, oh man, what could have been?
I don't care what you're gonna do, but go out there and make something of yourself for God's sake. Be an honest person and work and get to the top of whatever it is that you want to get to the top of. Be a bit of a light on the world instead of a blight.
Stop complaining about the results you didn't get from the work you didn't put in. The only way to become more successful than most people is to be willing to do something most people aren't willing to do.
I will try 100 times to get up, and if I fail 100 times, if I fail and I give up, do you think that I'm ever going to get up? No. But if I fail, I try again and again and again. For as long as I try, there's always that chance of getting up. And it's not the end until you've given up.
You've got to develop a sense of urgency. Aurelia said, stop living your life like you have 1,000 years to live. In life, you're either here today and you're gone today. If there's something that you want to do and you can't do it all at one time, do just a little bit of it.
Don't be afraid to reinvent yourself, and don't be afraid to be different, man. You ain't got to fit in the crowd. Why are you following everybody when you were clearly meant to lead?
Some people are moving on their own because they feel within themselves, I've got what it takes to make it. They're not afraid about tomorrow because of how they see themselves, because of what they feel that they deserve, because of what they feel that they can create for themselves. Because these people have decided, as they look at the future, as they look at themselves, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way for me to begin to create a way out of no way. And when you have that kind of consciousness, when you have that kind of spirit, nothing can stop you. Nothing.
Sometimes when you're following your own path, it takes a while for the world to catch up with you. You might look at the journey others have been on and think, that's what I should do. But instead, you kept moving through the dark on your own. And maybe you would have gotten there a little faster if you just followed everyone else. But now you can say you did it your way. You aren't living someone else's life and calling it enough. You stayed true to yourself. And that, my friends, is real success.
It's easy to look around at other people and think they have it better. They struggled too. At some point, they stood with their head in their hands, or got down on their knees, or slumped to the floor, not knowing exactly where to go, or what to do, or how things were going to work out. Every single successful person I know has gone through a struggle where they didn't know the next step. They had to step out in the darkness, so to speak, before the next step was illuminated. They took the chance not knowing what the end result would be. They took the step even though they were afraid. That's what courage is. That's what faith is about.
No one's coming. No one. No one's coming to push you. No one's coming to tell you to turn the TV off. No one's coming to tell you to get out the door and exercise. Nobody's coming to tell you to apply for that job that you've always dreamt about. Nobody's coming to write the business plan for you. It's up to you.
Why would you not go for it? Why would you not take a chance? At one point in time, you got to take a chance on you.
This year, you can't allow anything or anyone to get in the way of your growth, your success, or your inner peace. You have to stay focused on developing who you are, so when you look in the mirror, you feel proud.
Fail big. That's right. Fail big. Today is the beginning of the rest of your life, and it can be very frightening. It's a new world out there. It's a mean world out there. You only live once. So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances.
You gotta figure it out. If you really have an obsession to figure it out, you will figure it out. And every puzzle is constructed differently. Everybody has a different puzzle, man. You just gotta figure out your own puzzle.
You can walk through the fire complaining along the way, or you can walk through the fire and create an example for everyone else so that the trials and tribulations of their own life seem trivial because they're comparing themselves to the way you handle things, or the way you handle things with grace and dignity and discipline can show other people that they can handle their own life this way. And there's beauty in that. There really is. And there's so much inspiration to be gathered from other people.
This is why I say stay hard. Because when you weren't given the gifts, the only thing you can do in life is stay hard. There's no magic pill or a magic potion. All you can do is outwork the man that God created, or woman, in you.
The person you have to spend the most time listening to in your life is yourself. Try not to lose their respect. Self-respect and self-esteem, I think, largely comes from having faith in your own word.
I'm gonna, as far as I'm concerned, that's all talk. Actually get in there and get yourself some results. That's what you should really be focusing on,
Start betting on you and become the kind of person worth betting on. Trust and follow your dreams and desires. Do what you say you're going to do, and hold yourself to a higher standard. Living in the certainty that everything is always working out for you gives you courage and confidence to take risks, to feel comfortable in the unknown.
Sometimes you just need to focus on the small battles first. Ignore other people's progress and focus on yourself. Sometimes the small wins are the big wins, the ones that build momentum, and the ones that give you the confidence to fight another day. The only standard you need to hold yourself to is your own. Just put your head down, take one small step, and then another, and don't stop until you get there.
Don't worry about next week, next year. Just focus on every 24 hours that you get, and that's done a lot for me.
It's this magical thing, purpose that we're all looking for. But we don't take a second to realize the purpose is always there. The purpose never leaves us because the very purpose is you. You are always the purpose. So if you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do something, you don't care enough about yourself. And that's what you need to really research is, man, why am I not doing this for myself? Because that is the number one purpose in life, is to better oneself.
And are you going to be able to do everything in a day? No, you're not. But what an opportunity you have to just take one step at a time. And that's really where the beauty and the treasure is in the journey. It's in the steps that you get to take each and every day.
We become different people on the other side of change. What we're capable of, what we value, and how we define ourselves, these things can all shift. And if we can learn to pay close attention to these internal shifts, we may just find that rather than limiting us, change can actually expand us.
Learn that no matter what happens or how bad it seems today, life does go on, and it will be better tomorrow.
It's dangerous to dwell on past mistakes because people sort of define themselves by the worst moments that they've ever had. You gotta get through failure. It's very important. And you get through it by just picking yourself back up and moving forward and going.
You know, there's one place that all the people with the greatest potential are gathered. One place, and that's the graveyard.
The number one regret of the dying is they didn't take risks. They didn't become their ideal self. And I think that sometimes people hold off braveness and courage because they don't want to risk failure and they don't want to risk shame. And I think you got to risk it.
You need to decide what you want. You need to decide what you want to be remembered for. You need to decide what your legend will be.
Fear is a companion that you do not need. It wants to stay the whole course of your life and tell you, I'm here to keep you safe. If you listen to me, you'll be safe. And the thing about playing it safe is that you'll never be able to open up what's in the safe. You see, what's in the safe is treasure. What's in the safe is something great. But if you can ever break through and open that safe up, the combination to winning is overcoming fear, testing your limits, and then discovering what's possible.
So many people live in their head, they go to therapy in their head, they go in circles and nothing changes because it just becomes a circular conversation. And so what do you got to get yourself to act? Well, to get yourself to act, you have to get yourself in a state where you'll do it. So you can take anything and make it represented in your mind as difficult or easy. And the way we represent things is the way we feel. Experience life, you focus on. If I'm focused on what's wrong, my life is wrong. If I focus on what I love, my life is love. It really comes down to, yes, the way you represent the world is the way you experience the world. So I feel, what's life? Oh, it's a test. Well, then what's life like if it's a test? Well, if it's like a test, then it's hard and I got to study and I could fail. Or someone would say, then life's easy because I'm good at tests. Or is life a battle? Then those people always are looking for someone to fight with. They expect there's going to be a fight. It's always a struggle. And they find a way to make it a struggle. Is it a gift? Like however you represent life, it'll change completely what you're feeling and what you're doing.
Let me tell you something, and you listen to me, and you listen to me closely. Success doesn't come to the most intelligent or the most talented. Success to come to those who are the most hungry.
And there's a thing in your life called momentum, and if you're stuck in your life, it's because there's a lack of momentum in it. Momentum takes average, ordinary people and makes them appear to be superhuman. You have to do really difficult and feared things first. So if you could start to build the habit of doing feared things first, difficult things first, if you can survive the temporary, On the other side of temporary pain, you meet another version of yourself. And I have found that in my life. Most people avoid pain and discomfort, and that what happens is they never create any momentum in their life.
But for people with a growth mindset, the brain becomes most active when receiving information about what they could do better next time. In other words, people with a fixed mindset worry the most about how they're judged, while those with a growth mindset focus the most on learning. There are other consequences of mindset. People with a fixed mindset see effort as a bad thing, something that only people with low capabilities need, while those with a growth mindset see effort as what makes us smart, as the way to grow. And when they hit a setback or failure, people with a fixed mindset tend to conclude that they're incapable. So to protect their ego, they lose interest or withdraw. We observe that as lack of motivation, but behind it is a fixed mindset. Whereas people with a growth mindset understand that setbacks are part of growth. So when they hit one, they find a way around it.
The journey to success comes with a lot of what? Failure. So why don't you teach yourself, like I taught myself, is how to fail properly. You're gonna have to learn how to get up extremely fast because you are gonna have a million setbacks on this journey. And that's how I literally taught myself how to fail first.
When you open that up and you're able to see that there is more inside of you than anyone ever imagined, and that fear was just false evidence appearing real. It appeared real, but it was false from the beginning. And the truth is what will set you free. And what sets you free is when you see yourself as you can be. When you can look in the mirror and realize that the greatest thing that you've got to overcome is the imagery you had of yourself not being your best. But your greatest days are ahead.
If you've forgotten the language of gratitude, you'll never be on speaking terms with happiness, right? Like, what are you grateful for? Every single day, just slow down, right? Like, what are you grateful for, man? Right? Because it recalibrates and puts us in a space and place that when I'm grateful, I learn more. When I'm grateful, I'm a little bit better, right? When I'm grateful, I listen a little more. When I'm grateful, I'm more in the moment.
Belief comes before ability. You're not always born with the ability, but you have to believe before you have the ability. And if you believe, you have the ability, and then you have the courage to take action on that belief and that ability, then you can start moving forward. That is momentum. Momentum is potential. It's not guaranteed success, but it is potential.
We become people that only care about the outcome, then we lose ourselves. Marcus Aurelius gives us a very nice idea on how to find the good. He says, to the lover of glory, it is the reactions of others. To the lover of pleasures, it is his own passive experience. But to the intelligent man, it is his own action.
All life forms strive to the max of its potential except human beings. All life forms strives to the max of its potential except human beings. How tall will a tree grow? As tall as it possibly can. You never heard of a tree growing half as high as it could. No, trees don't grow half. A tree drives its roots as deep as it can, reaches as high as it can, produces every leaf it can, every fruit it possibly can. To the max. Every life form strives to the max except human beings. Now, why not human beings? Jot this down. You've been given the dignity of choice. You're not a robot. You don't have to repeat this year the same as last year. You can tear up last year's plan, develop a new plan.
There will be times when you seemingly face insurmountable obstacles, but that's when you dig deep into your soul for the courage and the fortitude to keep going and to never forget that despite life's detours, you are destined for greatness.
Most people aren't obsessed with their goals because they don't believe they're worthy of them. It's easy to dream about what you want, but in between where you are and what you want, there's a tremendous amount of stuff you got to change and do.
You want to be good? You really don't have a lot of choices because it takes what it takes. You have to do what you have to do to be successful. So you have to make the choices and decisions to have the discipline and the focus to the process of what you need to do to accomplish your goals.
In order for something to change, there needs to be change. Nothing changes and nothing changes, man. What happens when I decide for myself that I'm gonna do something different? I'm gonna have setbacks, I know. But if I'm feeling bad, that doesn't mean I'm doing bad. That doesn't mean I am bad. My brain can feel a certain way, but it's not gonna choose how I behave all the time.
Get good at failing. Embrace failure and rejection. I know that sounds really simple, but just understand that the more you fail, the more you're growing. Understand that failure, the most successful people, no matter how you define failure, they are failing far more than most people. They're rejected far more than most people. They're laughed at far more than most people. They're confused and they suffer far more than most people. Why are we labeling or judging failure as bad? Failure is great.
If you had the opportunity to be who you wanted to be today, would you be prepared? You really have to ask yourself, if what I wanted knocked on my door today, would I be equipped with the skills to do it? And if the answer is no, you have a lot of work to do, and that's fine. You just really have to make sure that how I see myself achieving what I see in my head, what am I doing every day? You have to have a winner's mentality, and a winner doesn't mean you get everything you want. A winner means I get up, I know that I'm going to face some challenges, but I'm not going to let them turn me down. And I'm definitely not going to let self-talk or talk from others that doesn't matter either, because they're not living your life, control your reality. You got to really know what your true north is. And if you don't know what that is, you have to sit down with yourself and figure out, how do I get here and what do I want?
When you don't see the results, when you feel like giving up, remember that the last thing to grow on a tree is its fruits.
Growth, success, and healing are all journeys, not destinations. Don't resent your life because your reality doesn't look the way you want it to yet. Give yourself time to learn, create, and fail. It's not often you elevate your life overnight. Self-improvement is a gradual, non-linear process. Let go of the frustration of not getting immediate results. You can't grow into the person you're meant to be without the ebbs and flows of your journey. Embrace it. Your time is coming.
Belief is a skill. Belief requires so much development because it's hard to believe things that you can't see. It's hard when you're poor to believe that one day you can be rich. But if you can actually sit there and have a conversation with yourself and believe that all things are possible, then everything is possible.
Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skills. Major determining factor in how your life works out. Each person's philosophy is like the set of the sail. The same wind blows on us all. The difference in where we arrive at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year is not the wind that blows. And the wind is blowing around the world.
You can't be comfortable with yourself if you don't know who yourself is. And you can't know who yourself is if you don't stop looking at how everybody around you is and start looking at what makes you comfortable and what makes you uniquely you. But there's only one you.
You want to be paying attention to yourself. And the problem with people in the world today is you're not paying attention to yourself. You're not inside your own head. You don't hear those voices. You don't hear what you love, what you like anymore. Because as I said, there's so many of these other distractions going on. And so you're always like attuned to what other people like, as opposed to disengaging, backing off from that and looking at yourself.
It says, I've learned that no matter what happens or how bad it seems today, life does go on and it will be better tomorrow. I've learned that you can tell a lot about a person by the way he or she handles adversity. I've learned that making a living is not the same thing as making a life. I've learned that life sometimes gives you a second chance. I've learned that you shouldn't go through life with a catcher's mitt on both hands. You need to be able to throw some things back. I've learned that whenever I decide something with an open heart, I usually make the right decision. I've learned that even when I have pains, I don't have to be one.
Grit, you need it when the chips are down, and it all comes from the mind. I'm struggling here. I need to do something to get myself out of this problem. And that's where you get grit. You think, well, I'm going to do it. The mind tells me I'm going to do it. The body is weak, the body is tired, but the grit will get me through it.
You have to lose your fear of failure. Failure is a part of the process. People who never fail, never try. You have to fail. You got to get it wrong to get it right. You learn nothing from winning. You only learn from your failures.
Why not? Why not see how much you can earn? Why not see how much you can learn? Why not see how many skills you can develop? Why not see what kind of person you can become? Why not see what kind of influence you can have?
At the end of every day, you look yourself in the mirror and you ask yourself, did I get better today? If the answer is yes, and you do that for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, how much better are you going to be? Are you getting better every single day? That's the question. And it's just taking small steps. You don't try to get it all done in one day, in 1 week, in 1 year. It's the process of getting better every day and doing that for a period of years that then create the masterpiece.
I want to ask you a question. What are your fears? What are you scared of? Something that's blocking us, that's holding us back. Some people call fear false evidence appearing real.
Suffering is a part of life. It is something that you cannot avoid, and the more you try to avoid it, the more you prolong its impact on your life. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. That's why the conversations that you have to have with yourself have to be engaging, have to be empowering. You got to speak life over you when it feels like death is all around you. You have to speak up and not allow yourself to be put on mute, because when you suffer in silence, someone else suffers as well. Suffering teaches you how to survive. It teaches you how to thrive. It teaches you how to win, because when you come out of suffering, you come out a survivor. And what survivors have is a game plan in life of how to make it and how to sustain. And when others find the road is clear, it's because you cleared the road for them. That's the challenge of understanding that suffering doesn't last always. But you can always outlast the suffering.
You will face pain on this way. Accept the pain. Smile at the pain. Embrace the pain. Zbogom. Pain is the gatekeeper of destiny. Pain is there to ask you one simple question. Do you really want to achieve your goals? Or are you just a talker?